Recently, I had a breakdown after many blind dates. The guys I like are not like me. The ones who like me, I don't like. Everyone always says if you lower your standards, you'll find someone. But I can't imagine going out with such short, ugly guys, and that would be like torture. It's so hard to find the right person. I would rather stay alone. It's not so bad being alone. On January 17th this year, Statistics China released data showing that there are 30 million more men than women in the population. If there are more single men than women in this country, why are there still so many unmarried women? The analysis suggests that most older men are in the countryside, while most older women are in the large cities, especially in developed areas such as Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. In Beijing, for example, there are at least 1 million elderly women, which is 4 times the number of elderly men. Today, we're going to talk about leftover women in China. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. Leftover women generally refer to women over the age of 27 who are still single. One reason for this situation is that these women have high expectations of their partners. Many ladies want to find a successful man with a high income as a lifelong partner, but often they cannot get what they want. As they grow older, their Prince Charmings never show up. In their philosophy, a better no one than anyone makes them remain single, and their youth fades in disappointment. Around 2005, in cities such as Shanghai, Beijing, and Nanjing, blind date corners began to appear in large numbers in parks. The railings of the parks are covered with marriage advertisements in the form of resumes. However, it is not young people who gather here, but their parents and modern-day matchmakers. Parents either browse other people's matrimonial ads or chat with others while holding their children's ads, trying to help their children find a suitable partner. The ratio of men to women at matchmaking corners is 1 to 9, which means there are 9 times as many daughters as sons. Therefore, 80 to 90% here are parents who are eager to help their leftover daughters. Last month, a mother braved the rain to come to the matchmaking corner at Wansong Academy in Hangzhou's Westlake Scenic area to find a husband for her 41-year-old daughter. The person she struck up a conversation with was a matchmaker. It's raining heavily today. Is this your first time here? Yes, it is. How tall is your daughter? 1.62 meters. What about her education? Bachelor's degree. What does she do? Construction supervisor. That's impressive. She's an engineer. How much does she make a year? About 27,000 a year. Is she the only daughter in your family? I have 2 and she has a younger sister. Is your younger sister married? Not yet. What are your daughter's requirements for a boyfriend? About the same social class. Yes, almost the same level. How tall does he have to be? Preferably over 1.75 meters. Prefer a taller guy? Yes. What about education? Bachelor's degree or higher. Hometown? Preferably from Zhejiang province. What about income? About the same as your daughter's? Preferably a little higher, but similar is fine. What about the man's age? It doesn't matter if he's 4 years older or 4 years younger. Then I'd like to ask, since your daughter is a little older, can she accept some divorced men who are very good? Divorced men without children are also okay. This girl herself is very good. On the surface, her requirements for the future husband are not high, but when you think about it, they are not easy to meet. 27,000 a year and taller than 1.75 meters. It's difficult to find a man who meets these 2 conditions. Likely, these outstanding men are already married. Even if she finds a divorced man, will he like her? She is 41 years old. This blogger is a matchmaker and complains that she will never accept an older woman over 45 again unless she is willing to accept a divorced man, because there are too few options for such women and the success rate is very low. She gave the example of a 33-year-old woman who, when she was 28 or 29, went to a matchmaker to find a partner. The woman has a good background, she works in a company, has an apartment and a car, and is pretty. There are quite a few men who want to date her. The lady said she wasn't picky, but none of the men the matchmaker introduced her to were suitable. I introduced her to a 1.72 meter tall guy who works for a government agency, but she rejected him because he was short. I also introduced her to a 1.85 meter tall teacher, but she rejected him because he is too skinny and too tall, like a stick. Now she's 33 years old and she told me she regrets it. Now, no matter who he is, as long as the conditions are not bad, she will get married and have a quick marriage. Once a woman passes the age of 30, the quality of her blind date partners actually decreases significantly, one after another. She even asked me, why are the resources offered to me getting worse and worse? I really wanted to say, baby, don't you have any idea? Men at your age are normally all married. The few still available don't want someone your age anyway. They like young girls. The matchmaker said that in this market, the most important thing for a woman is her age, and that she should not let her busy schedule or career get in the way of finding a husband. Let's take a look at a man's experience on a blind date. I went on a blind date today with a 36-year-old single woman. My friend introduced us. What are her requirements? She wants to have a down payment of $100,000, an apartment that you bought with full payment, which means no mortgage burden, a car worth more than $70,000, and a monthly salary of more than $2,700. She doesn't want to talk about any relationship feelings or man's virtues. She thinks that's nonsense. She told me to be more pragmatic. Later, my friend tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Let's go." Now, I'm riding back on an electric bicycle. There is a man at the blind date corner who makes $410 a month, but wants to find a woman with a monthly salary of $1,100. You should understand that it's because I'm broke that I want someone rich. Love is about supporting each other. Do you have the right to talk about love with that condition? Because I'm not rich, I want to find someone who is. We can complement each other and the relationship can last longer. You want one with $1,100 a month when you only make $410? Do you know how to spell ugly? Men never look in the mirror and think we're ugly. Everyone has their own standards, so it's okay if you find someone. What are you worth? Why would a woman like you? We have to exchange values. Your greatest value might be that you will do all the housework. A lot of women don't even do housework, and I cook really well. That's okay too. Everyone has the right to make their own choices. I can help take care of the kids too. The man said that in today's society, men do the laundry, the cooking, and all kinds of other housework. Where are women today who can do the housework? They can't do anything. He can do all the housework. There is another reason why many women are left over. They ask for too much in bride price. Bride price or bride gift is a traditional Chinese custom in which the groom gives money or gifts to the bride's parents before the wedding. The original intention is to thank the bride's parents for raising their daughter. Bride price expectations vary widely between men and women. The 2024 Bridal Price Research Report shows that nearly 40% of men believe a reasonable bride price is $7,000 to $14,000, and nearly 30% believe it should be less than $7,000, while 45% of women believe a bride price of $14,000 to $28,000 is more reasonable. The bride price is $52,000. There are no bride prices that high in Xi'an. Can it be lowered? Teacher, it costs $52,000 to marry me. Is that too much? Some people still think it's too much. In fact, I used to ask for $70,000. Then why did you lower the price? Well, it's difficult to get married, so I have to lower the price to $52,000. Some people really went too far, asking if I could lower it even more, if there could be a discount, if it could be paid in installments. They are daydreaming, thinking I am some rotten cabbage in the market. The woman is 38 years old, has good conditions, and doesn't have high expectations of the man's income. However, her expectations for the bride price are incredible. Let me see, you have a master's degree. You'll be easy to find one based on your requirements. He has to be 5'10" and earn $20,000. Isn't that easy to find? He doesn't have to have an apartment or a car. The bride price is $110,000, which is a little hard for the man to accept, don't you think? Yes, my dates are stuck for this. Why do you want $110,000 for a dowry? I think boys are under a lot of pressure these days. Since I have a car and an apartment, I don't need any future husband to pay the mortgage. After we get married, he can just move in. I said I wanted a wedding gift of $110,000. I've already told you that the man you give me will give me $110,000, and I'll bring out the same amount as $110,000, which is $220,000, as a fertility fund after we get married. So this is a fertility fund, not saying you give me $110,000 and I just pocket it and I'll never give it back. It's how much the other person gives, and you provide as much as he does. You're excellent in every way. Do you want him to live in Hangzhou or Ningbo? I can come to Hangzhou from Ningbo. Faced with unusually high bride prices, many men would rather not get married. They questioned, is this love? It's a transaction. Who gets married these days? A 41,000 wedding present is like selling your daughter. Some ladies even help their parents to ask for money. They say they don't like money verbally, and they say the bride price just shows a man's attitude and guarantee for the marriage. But in fact, don't they just want to subsidize themselves? So how much do you think is appropriate for a dowry? Well, it depends on the situation of our families. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes. If the woman asks for 41,000, can you afford it? If the 41,000 wedding gift goes into her pocket and after the wedding the couple quarrels all the time, causes chaos, and then she gets a divorce, the woman suffers no loss, but the man, he's left with nothing. You say that your parents raised you with great difficulty, but what about us? My parents also raised me with great hardship. If I'm rich, you'll marry me. If I'm not, you won't. Is that called love? It's clearly a transaction with a fixed price. Some people today have forgotten the origin of the meaning of marriage and are blinded by money. A middle-aged woman in her early 40s is a department manager in a large company. She has a good job, a good income, a car, and an apartment. Since she has never found Mr. Right, she had planned to spend the rest of her life alone. However, some time ago she was in the hospital and saw a lady in the same ward whose husband was taking good care of her. She was very moved and decided to find a husband as well. She told the matchmaker her requirements for the future husband. Actually, I don't have high standards when it comes to choosing a spouse. First of all, I just want to find someone who is about the same age as me, or even older, up to 50 years old. The man should be mature and mentally stable, with a regular job and income. He should be at least 1.75 to 1.8 meters tall. His temperament should not be irritable. He will be responsible and reliable, knowing how to take care of others, having no bad habits and no weird values. He should also be good looking, the kind that would make me look good if I took him out. I'm a person who cares about face. In front of my relatives and friends, I need to have a full face, and it's a must. My second request is directly related to the bride price because I feel that we are all adults and I like to keep things above the table. I want the man to offer 120,000 as a bride price because I think that once you get married, the woman has to bear in the family more than the man. This is also a form of financial security that I am proposing. After hearing the list, the matchmaker left without saying a word, not to mention others, but only the bride's price, 120,000. People really don't know how many men can meet such requirements. In the comments section, one netizen left a message saying, "Wait another 88 years and your dream will definitely come true." Another netizen quipped, "I think the matchmaker already did you a favor by even listening to you before she left." Many older women are very bright. After graduating from college, they go to postgraduate studies. They spend most of their youth studying, but when they want to get married, they discover that men of their age are already married and have children. When I went to university, I was the pride of the whole village. Now I'm in my 30s and unmarried, and I've become a joke to the whole village. I'm already 32 years old. I like children, but if I get pregnant in the next 2 or 3 years, I'll be an old mother with a high risk of childbirth. When I think that I'll be 55 by the time my child is 20, I feel panic. I hope to find someone as soon as possible to marry. I was born in a rural village in Hebei province. I am probably the first female student in our village to get into a top university, and I am also the first to get a master's degree. A few years ago, when my parents went back to our hometown for Chinese New Year, everyone they met flattered them, saying, "You have really raised a good daughter. She is a good student and will do well in the future. You can look forward to enjoying a happy life." My parents were very happy to hear that. Now that I'm over 30 and still unmarried, my parents are afraid that people in the village will ask, "Is your daughter married yet? She is over 30 and still unmarried?" This tone seems sarcastic. A single female netizen left a comment saying that she was born in 1990 in Wuhan, is a university teacher, has an apartment and a car, and I often feel anxious too. There was also a comment that said, "There is no need to get married just for the sake of it. You should marry the right person. If the marriage is only about pots and pans, endless nagging, that is a different kind of loneliness." That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.